¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Hello, welcome, bienvenidos to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy En Día TV. I'm your host and producer, Yessie Rodriguez, on this lovely, terrific Thursday. Yes, I'm bringing on to the stage my amazing co-hosts. You know, we have Dr. C.Andra, the actionist, author, entrepreneur, actor, model. Hey, welcome. Next, we have my other amazing co-host, Nadine Barton, author, actor, model, entrepreneur. Hey, all of us. Well, I'm not an author yet, but actor, model, entrepreneur. Hey, we have those three in common. How are y'all? ¿Cómo están?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah, doing great. Yeah, good day.
How's my audio?
You sound good, but yeah, so yeah, what we're gonna have, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Everything looks good. So how have y'all been since the last time we checked in?
Good. Dealing with this rainy weather over here, all this thunder. It's been crazy.
Yeah, life here for me. It's been really good. Moving forward, doing great things. Going to be doing a pitch on Sunday for $100,000. So you guys keep our fingers crossed. It's going to be amazing. So super excited. Just moving forward, making it happen.
Praise God. Yes. Well, positive vibes your way. You're going to get it. Whatever the pitch is for, God has it. Yes. That's beautiful. I love it. Yes, yes, yes. But I agree. We've been having a lot of like gloomy, rainy weather for some reason. It's like we're trying to enjoy the summer, but I feel like most of the time it's just been rainy. Like, come on now, we want to be able to enjoy it. I don't know what's happening.
Well, I'm thankful for the rain. Y'all know, because the rivers and the lakes and the ponds, everything been dry, you know, and so we definitely need that water. So I'm happy for it. I know sometimes it ruins the day, you know, because you want to go outside and have picnics and do all the things, but I'm happy for the rain. But it just does get a little bit more muggier here in North Carolina, it seems, just like Florida. That's why I was like, I'm originally from Florida, so I'm like, I think I brought the Florida heat to North Carolina.
But
you know it's hurricane season.
North Carolina.
Oh, it's hurricane season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is. But it's interesting because we've been getting a lot of rain, and even up north, I hear that they've been getting a lot of rain. So I'm just surprised that the lakes and the rivers and all that are still dry. We've been getting a lot. What's happening to the water?
The data centers. We talked about this. That's what's happening to the water. AI technology. They're taking it all to cool down these machines. We need water to live and to thrive.
They still have the notation on my water company website about a drought, and I don't know where's the drought because it's been raining here like crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Even in Wisconsin, when I talked to my family there, they've been getting a lot of rain as well. But then they're also in their area claiming that they're in a drought, and it's like I don't believe it. So I agree with you, sis, CC, that it sounds like the correlation could definitely be data center related, because I can't imagine us being that short of water when it's raining like a good amount of the time. It just doesn't align with me. So something's definitely not right. And talking about aligning, did y'all hear the children's educator and YouTube star, Miss Rachel, which we all love? I know my 3-year-old toddler loves Miss Rachel. I'll be honest, I love her too. She's really dope. She's really cool. So she's facing growing backlash online after publicly supporting the family of the 18-year-old Nolan Wells and calling for what she described as a thorough, honest, fair, and transparent investigation. I've heard that even to the point where her show, I believe it was on Netflix. Now, let me double check that, but I know her show was canceled. Now, she's on YouTube, but recently she moved over to Netflix, and there's been people saying that her show's been canceled because of that. To me, that's not right at all. What are your thoughts about that?
That's bananas. I saw that. I didn't read the whole article. I saw that, but that's unfair for them to even do that, you know, when she's standing up for something that's right.
Yeah, this whole cancel culture, I just hate that people are so easily offended that you can't say anything to anybody these days without somebody getting upset and then taking extreme measures, right, to affect your livelihood. It's like, let's grow up already. Let's have a conversation. We can agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to come after my job. You don't have to try to cancel me and berate me and belittle and try to, do all the things just to really make that person's reputation stink, right, in the eyes of others. And I just think it's very unfair, and we have to stand up as a nation, because this used to not be the case. Like, people used to could disagree and stuff, but people weren't coming after your livelihood, right? This lady, I'm pretty sure she had this in her heart. I'm pretty sure this was the purpose that God put in her heart. She brought it to fruition, and she's educating the little kiddos and things like that. And she makes this fun, and it's something that your children can watch without, I mean, we should do parental guidance on everything, but some shows you just can't watch. But I believe that her show is one of those shows that's pretty, okay and decent, that if your kid was watching it alone, you'd be okay. So it's not right. And so we definitely got to pray for her. We got to speak up too, because they've done this with so many people. Just cancel culture. They don't like what you say. They don't like what you believe, how you believe. If you don't believe like they believe or do what they do, then it's a problem. It's problematic, and that's just not how it should be.
And especially with social media, it's like for them, anything goes. They could just, at a drop of a dime, get somebody's business shut down in 2 days, 2.3 seconds. You know what I mean? So they go down and put bad reviews on people's companies. And, I've seen people go from 5 star to 1 star in a day. Uh, uh, that's
No, I
crazy.
believe. Yeah, I believe it. And honestly, something similar happened to Nolan Wells' mom because of the situation where people started. I call them the haters. I'm sorry if y'all don't like the situation, because it's really unfortunate. A African American and Asian boy lost his life. You all are haters for even, like, one, canceling Miss Rachel, and two, for his mom. His mom almost lost her job because somebody lied upon her. She's a nurse practitioner, and thankfully it went to court and all the charges were dropped and stuff because there was nothing against her. But it just shows you the mentality, how narrow-minded people are. I agree with you, Cece. People need to grow up. And you know what's interesting that people don't realize, and I've talked about this before on the show, is the law of karma. That what you put out comes back to you. So guess what? If you're putting out negativity, guess what's going to happen? Negativity is going to come right back to you. When you put out positivity comes back to you. So just be very careful what you do, what you say, and how you treat others, because the way you treat others is going to reflect back on you. And when you don't like it, that's because you got to really question yourself. How am I treating people? How am I talking to people? Do I respect people, right? Just think about it carefully.
And it's going to come back in tenfold. They just don't know. You might not see it now, but it will definitely come back.
Absolutely. And you know what people don't realize too is that sometimes based on the actions, it may not even affect you, but it could affect a loved one, a child, right? A parent. You just don't know how the universe and God works. It's going to affect you in a way where you're like, oh wow. And then you're going to really think back and say, oh, okay, I remember now, right? So we're saying this to say, just be very mindful of how you treat and respect others. Always, always, always. If you want to be treated good, treat others with respect and treat others good. Everybody's dealing with something. Put yourself in that person's shoe. In this case, this woman lost her child, and Miss Rachel is just saying this mama just lost her baby and deserves to know what happened. Please join me in supporting the family's call for a thorough, honest, fair, and transparent investigation. Now, this could happen. This is for across the board, whether you are pink, purple, white, gray, black, whatever, yellow. It doesn't matter. Everybody deserves that. So why are these two individuals being treated unfairly? That's not right. That's not right at
Because
all,
people
y'all.
are they're keyboard bullies, and that's what it is. I mean, they don't give a hoot about other people's livelihood. You know what I mean? So feel sorry for those individuals. Like
Right?
people could be so mean and so evil. Like I also, just a little bit off topic, I also recently watched another video of a neighbor. This parent, I don't know if she was a single mom. They said she took hours to build her pool for her kids outside, and the neighbor went over and stuck a knife or something in there and let the water out. Why? But why would somebody do that? There's so much evil people in this world.
that yeah, that yeah, there's so much I'm going to say, but I'm going to censor myself. Especially being a parent, right? You're trying to do a good deed for your kid, and then somebody does that. Like, come on now. Oh, that just bothers me. And you know
But the
what?
thing
Talking
is,
about
it's
this,
all on
mhm,
camera, so she just totally incriminated herself. I'm not sure if you're the neighbor, don't you know that your neighbor has cameras? I mean, that's just stupid for you to do that.
So it makes you wonder, do these people, they obviously lack love. They obviously lack attention, because if you're doing, like when you're growing up, you see little kids acting out, and then they correlated to, oh, they want love and attention. Is that what it is? Is that the adult version of, do you want a hug? Do you need love and attention? Like, because if so, come here, ma'am, sir. Let's give you a hug. Let's make you feel better, because obviously your actions, numerically, you're an adult, but mentally you're still a child.
Yeah, I believe so. I agree. I think that it's a cry for help. It's a cry for attention. And, they want people to look at them, and they may be truly lacking something mentally, some scruples there, right? Some marbles, right? Coming off the rocker and stuff. So I really do believe that it is a cry for our whole society. Literally, we can say just about our whole, I'm going to say whole because not in totality, but the majority, that's 99.9, right? They are all about, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Even in our whole, media era here with technology and things of that nature, it's follow me, like me, subscribe to me. It's all of that. We put a great importance on that. And so when people aren't getting that, they want to do silly things or mean things, because that's the thing that typically gets the headlines, right? When you're doing mean and silly and hateful things, that's what people want to talk about. And we have to begin to change the narrative to be able to put those good things, those positive things, like you said earlier, yes, putting out the positive energy and things of that nature to change that, or just simply ignore all this silly stuff. If you begin to ignore these fools, because that's what they are, right? You begin to ignore them, they don't have an audience. Then what? You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you just got to kind of take the gasoline away from that fire that's already, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to, well, when we were watching them and liking and subscribing and talking about, we just got to take all that out. And that takes away the gasoline, right? From that fire, right? It takes, but for fire, you got to have oxygen. So we just want to take away that oxygen from it so that it can't continue. Eventually it's going to smolder, it's going to die out. And then, we're on to the next thing.
Sure if it's just on my end, yes, but it says recording error, so I'm not sure. Because I'm not live on Facebook anymore, so I'm not just checking to make sure it's not on your end as well.
On my end, there's a check mark.
Okay, so you're good then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have one more topic that I want to bring up. I don't have anything y'all wanted to bring up with regards to what y'all have come across. Nadine, I think you have.
Oh, you had muted me. I'm sorry. You said what's the question?
I believe you have a topic that you.
I have so many. Oh, I don't know if I sent it in the group, but this young lady, I think it was in California. She was walking, and she was on the crosswalk, and some cops attacked her for jaywalking. I thought that jaywalking is not in the crosswalk, so I'm not understanding. Like, enlighten me. Is that a California law? I mean, I know I used to live in California. Cece used to live in California, but is that a California law? I mean, jaywalking, I thought that was just crossing the street and not in a crosswalk, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
We have the how you have the electronic the little talkers up with a little guy walking. So maybe she was walking and that time had expired. That could be one possibility.
Nadine, I saw that video, and she was just minding her business. She was jamming to the headphone, to her music and stuff. And I did see where the cop tried, because as she was walking, he was coming, and he tried to get her attention, but she's tunnel vision. She's in her own world. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see the cop tackling her and then pushes her against the building. She ended up getting like her shoulder dislocated. Her face was all jacked up because other police came. And my whole thing is this: there's so many other, how can I say this, higher criminal activity going on, right? Why jaywalking? Like, come on, are y'all that bored? Because if so, then you're in the wrong position, police officer, right? There's other things that you should be doing for the safety of society, not someone who is in their old world jaywalking. Like, come on, that's very petty, to the point where you're hurting people, dislocating shoulders, faces all bloody. Like, that's very unnecessary.
Too, he even drove down the one-way street just to catch her. I mean, I'm not understanding. You think that this woman committed a real crime, for the way the guys ran out and just chased her and tackled her. That's
Nadine,
crazy.
I'm wondering how old that video was because I just researched that. As that is jaywalking illegal in California. And it says since January 1st of 2023, California's freedom to walk generally prevents police from stopping or ticketing someone simply for crossing outside of a crosswalk unless the crossing creates an immediate danger of a collision. So, in the practical terms, crossing the street outside a crosswalk is not automatically ticketable anymore, or that police officers should not have stopped. Do you remember how old was that? A recent situation that happened?
There today, but I'm not sure how old it was.
So yeah, so if it's something recent, then that police officer should definitely be held accountable, and even to the extremity of the situation, dislocated shoulders, bruising up people's faces. No, no, that's not okay at all. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Cece, did you have a topic you wanted to bring up or spotlight?
No, nothing on my end. Life is lovely over here, y'all. So I know y'all had some good juicy stuff. So I was going to talk on what you guys were going to bring up tonight.
Awesome. Well, we do have an amazing guest
You have
waiting
an
for us.
amazing guest waiting for us. I was
Oh, go ahead, Nadine.
no, I was saying it happened in 2024.
So yeah, that means that officer went against or outside of the California's Freedom to Walk Act, because that was in place as of January of 2023. So we just got to follow up and see what consequences, if any, did that officer have or receive, because they did a number on that poor girl. I feel bad for her. And also doing a number on children. An Ohio father is facing charges after authorities says that he supposedly posed as his 11-year-old daughter on TikTok to lure the man accused of sexually assaulting her back to the family's home, where he allegedly shot him twice. According to prosecutors, the girl's mother discovered a video on her daughter's phone that allegedly showed 20-year-old, and they say the name, I'm say Mr. Gonzalez because that's his last name, that was sexually assaulting the child inside the Grove City home. The following day, investigators say that the girl's father, 31-year-old Mr. Chandler, used his daughter's TikTok account to convince Mr. Gonzalez to return to the house. And guess what? He did. And Chandler says his plan was to confront the suspect, beat him up, hold him there, and call the police. However, he claimed he believed Mr. Gonzalez was reaching for a gun in his pocket, prompting him to grab a firearm and shooting him twice. Now, mind you, they investigated this person, and this person has had a lot of history with sexually assaulting and abusing children involving infants and toddlers. So he saved other kids' life, but now he's getting prosecuted. The father's getting prosecuted for doing the right thing and for trying to help his daughter. What are your thoughts about that?
I think maybe he got charged because it was premeditated, so that's why. But I mean, as a parent, any parent would understand, for him to do that. And I've read the comments, and they were like, "Let the man go." I mean, he's doing, justice. So I don't think it was fair but I mean, that's the law.
It's a sad situation. I still don't think anyone should take the law into their own hands, but I can attest that any parent will probably do something similar to that, or maybe that, I don't know. But it's never ever my position ever for anyone to be killed, for us to murder, for us to do any of that stuff. It's wrong on every single level. Every human life, whether they're dirt bags or not, it has value. And so, the authorities should have been called, and proper channels should have been, put in place to handle the situation. But I can understand, being a mom of 3 boys, someone does something to hurt your child, you just kind of you kind of just lose it. It's almost like a moment of insanity. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't imagine. And yeah, he prevented this guy now, from harming, other kids and stuff like that. But I still don't think that, he should have been shot. I don't even think that. I know that he shouldn't have been shot. I know that violence in that realm and to that magnitude should never be used on any human being. It's not right. And so again, the proper channels of the law should have been enforced. And I know a lot of times we know that our justice system, there's no justice, right? And so we do tend to take, matters into our own hands. But can you imagine every citizen taking matters into their own hand and in their own limited subjective thoughts, right? Are thinking what they're doing is right and don't see the bigger picture? That can be very, very harmful for a country, for a nation, right? When we have these vigilantes going out, because we've seen the movies like that, right? Sometimes you're like, right on, get the bad guy. But when you look at the bigger pictures, there's a lot of other factors that, come into play with these types of things.
And
Well, I
I think
value.
too, you don't know how you're gonna react until you're in that certain situation too. Because as a parent, if that personally happens to you, the adrenalines are kicking in, the emotions, you don't know how you're gonna act. I mean, like somebody, committing MUR, you don't know how you're gonna react. Your senses are not gonna be there. Christians, pastors, whoever, you don't know how you're gonna react. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, I know the Ten Commandments said, thou shalt not kill or whatever. But as a parent, I mean, I don't have any kids, but I don't even know what I would do if that happened to one of my family member.
Yeah, I agree that we may not know what we're going to do. But this dad, though, he had an opportunity to calm himself because it was premeditated, because it wasn't like in the midst of it happening. You know what I'm saying? So that whole premeditated thing that you said earlier, that might get him into some hot water. But then again, because crime is a passion. It's like when you're in it, when you're at, you know what I'm saying? When it's happening right then, not that it's happened, then you call him to come back. You see what I'm saying? So the premeditate, so that might kind of trip him up a little bit. But I understand this dad because, like being a mama, just even having loved ones. You don't have to be a parent, just your loved ones. It could be your niece or nephew or cousin. You know what I'm saying? You don't want anybody hurting your family members, and it angers you. And you're absolutely right, Nadine. We don't know what we're going to do, but I would hope and pray that, that they would think twice.
Yeah, that's some sense to that, Cece, because it's not like he had walked in and caught them doing it. So the premeditated one, that's the law. But if he had walked in, maybe it'd probably be a little bit more justified. But
Well, both of y'all bring in some great points, and I agree. It's one of those things where you don't know unless you go deal with that, right? Or you've experienced that. But I'm curious to see the viewers and listeners what your thoughts are. So if you have any thoughts about that, tell us. How would you approach that? What would you do? Is the father right to protect their child or not? What are your thoughts? So coming up, we have our guests coming up, but quickly, we are going to go on a sponsor break. Then when we do return, Nadine's going to introduce our guests, and we're going to have an amazing conversation with today's guest here on Hoy En Día TV. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth. In the job market, transformation has never been closer because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose. Because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy En Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Yes, you can catch us here on Hoy En Día, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. with reruns Sundays, 7:30 p.m. For those who want to be sponsors at Hoy En Día, hey, we welcome you with open arms, and shout out to our sponsors. For those who need a little push in the right direction to find your purpose because you have no clue, it's okay. Everyone has a purpose, but I know someone who can help you get that aligned. So definitely knock on Dr. Siandra's door. She will get you right. Also, skin, largest organ in our body. I always say that. You don't want to walk around looking ashy and dry and all that. No, 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 no. We're too grown for that. Come on now, take care of yourself. Pamper yourself. Invest in some Cab Zenza body butter, and guess what? Nadine will get you right, because I know every time I put it on, it smells good. It's nice and soft and silky. It lasts a while. So, hey, put it on, invest in it. Also, custom made shirts. Look at that. We got our Hoy En Día shirts on. So it doesn't matter the occasion, whether it's your birthday, anniversary, let's see, a wedding, bridal party, corporate party, just because, whatever shirt, because you want a custom shirt, reach out, Collective Custom Wear. And if you don't know how to reach out to me directly, right? You can go on my website, YessieRodriguez.com, and I will connect you with everyone, our sponsors here. And for those who want to be sponsors, again, reach out to me. My website, YessieRodriguez.com, or email hoyendiatv@gmail.com. I'm actually going to put it at the bottom for those who want to see it visually, hoyendiatv@gmail.com, subject line sponsor. If you want more information, I'll share that with you. So, yes. All right. So, Nadine, ma'am, are you ready to introduce our guest? Yeah. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
Yes, ma'am. So on today's shows, we have educator, actress, entrepreneur, recording artist, life coach, host. Tiffany M. Walter, professionally known as Tiffani Michele, is a dynamic education leader, transformational life coach, actress, recording artist, published author, inspirational speaker, and entrepreneur whose work is united by one purpose: helping people to discover their voice, embrace their worth, and move confidently toward what is possible. With more than 15 years of leadership experience across higher education, K-12 education, enrollment management, and student success, Tiffany has built a career centered on expanding access and helping individuals transform uncertainty into opportunity. As a senior enrollment coach with Education Dynamics, she guides prospective students and adult learners through complex academic, financial, and career decisions. Her professional background also includes executive and senior admissions leadership roles, developing enrollment strategies, strengthening student retention, coaching high-performing teams, and contributing to the enrollment of thousands of students across multiple institutions and educational programs. Tiffany is also a Master Certified Life Coach specializing in transformational coaching. She has experience supporting individuals as they navigate grief, recovering from domestic violence, major life transitions, and career changes. Her coaching approach combines empathy, accountability, spiritual growth, and strategy, creating a safe space for clients to heal, rediscover their confidence, and build lives that reflect their purpose. She does not simply help people set goals, she helps them recognize the strength they already possess and transform painful or uncertainty seasons.
Is it me or did we lose her?
Yeah, she's frozen.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute her. So let me finish the bio that I have for her. For our special guest, yes. So Nadine did an amazing job with the information she has, but she is frozen, so I'm going to go ahead and take over here. So as we know, our guest is an educator, an actress, recording artist, published author, master certified life coach, host, entrepreneur. And she has dedicated her journey to helping others discover their voice, recognize their worth, and confidently pursue their purpose. We'll explore how she has successfully blended leadership, education, entertainment, faith, and entrepreneurship in today's segment while using some of life's most challenging experiences as fuel for her personal growth and transformation. So, our guest Tiffany will also share details about her acting and music, her passion for empowering others, and the inspiration behind her upcoming faith based clothing and lifestyle brand, S.A.I.N.T. Ooh, S.A.I.N.T. Lifestyle Brand LLC. I'm curious to know what that stands for. So today is an inspiring conversation about resilience, reinvention, walking boldly in your calling, and refusing to be limited to just one dream. You don't want to miss it. So we're going to bring her on right now. Welcome to Hoy En Día, Tiffany. Yes.
Hello, 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 everyone.
Hello. Yes. Welcome. We are truly thrilled to have you. So tell us, you have an amazing bio that Nadine started reading and I closed out. In a nutshell, who do you say you are?
I am Tiffani Michele Walter. I am the daughter of Gloria and Richard Richardson. I am the granddaughter of Charles and Janice Frederick Walter. I am a woman of faith, strong believer in faith. I am a mom. I am a friend. I am a sister. I am an advocate. I am a woman. So while we put all of these titles and we put all of these things and we attach all of these things to who we are, at the end of the day, I am that I am. Just as simple as that. And I am because I know who I am and I know whose I am. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love that. Yes. So now you are an educator, an actress, recording artist, author, life coach, host, entrepreneur. So you wear so many different hats. So I really want to understand how that all came about. Walk us through. Let's peel the onion a little bit. Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. How did all these layers of who you are today come into fruition?
Wow. That's a loaded question, Yessie. I will say it all started at a very, very early age. I am an only child. I was raised as an only child. And I was the light of the house, right? I was always given the opportunity to have, and I was always told I had such a big energy. I was very energetic. I was very book smart. I had a whole lot of sass, right? And my mouth used to get me in trouble all of the time. but I come from a beautiful family, and of course, all families have their issues and their challenges. But what I can say is what is so beautiful about my family is that I come from a family who valued education. I come from a family who values the artistry and the creativity of people. I have, my mom who is also, I sing, but my mom has an amazing soprano voice. But my mom has this niche for numbers. And then she has this sharp eye. So she's really, really good when it comes down to design and things of that nature. So in our family, you will find that while there are a lot of super analytical, data-driven, educational-driven individuals, there was this balance of creativity, whether that be music, whether that be drawing or artistry, whether that be writing, speaking. So our family really truly was just an umbrella of so many things, or a rainbow of so many colors. So I was blessed to have been able to experience that, not only while I while I was educated and I valued education and my family stressed education, I also had the opportunity to be and exist in this creative space. So what I did as I matured and got older, I tried to find ways that would allow me to blend the two. And so, me having such a bright and colorful mentality, me having such a bright and colorful attitude about life, so I started blending that in my education space. And so, yeah.
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And I always love hearing the foundational aspect of how people started in their careers or their passion or just who they are today. So thank you for sharing that. I do have some other questions, but I'm going to go ahead and spotlight Nadine, and then from there we'll spotlight Cece, and then we'll come right back to me. So Nadine, questions on you. Nadine, questions on you.
Yes, so I'm so sorry about that earlier. The It's thundering out here and the internet is crazy. All right. So, Tiffany, I'm not gonna be too hard. So, you wear so many hats: educator, actress, life coach, entrepreneur, and recording artist, right? Which role feels most like your true calling and why?
Oh, wow. In full transparency, um, I believe that my true calling is to help people, regardless. I just have different avenues of doing it, right? Whether that be me singing, and I have had the amazing opportunity to be a praise and worship leader. I've sang professional background vocals for some amazing artists, both on the gospel and the R&B side of things. I have the amazing opportunity to present myself as an actress. I have the amazing opportunity to work behind the scenes, and I'll talk a little bit more about B2B, Back to the Basics, which y'all already have my sister on, and I know that she's listening, Lily Mae Jones Perry. But I've had the opportunity to be behind the screen. I am an advocate. I'm a member of one of the most amazing, and I will say the most amazing, Divine Nine sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority incorporated, the first and the best, right? But all in all, my purpose absolutely is to help people. And I remember there's a gospel song that a lot of people in the more the gospel sector will, if I can help somebody as I travel along the way, then my living is not in vain. And so I carry that. So whether it's in a creative space, whether it's me being an educator teaching, whether it's me life coaching, whether it's me just listening to a friend or saying a prayer over a friend or with a friend, I'm helping somebody. So my true purpose is really just being a help, which is what led me into all of these different arenas. So whatever I can do, or whatever way that I can extend myself, whether creatively or whether it's in an educational space, I'm going to do that.
That's amazing, Tiffany, and you have that aura. When I first met you, I felt that spirit in you. Yes. So I have one more question. So, as a transformational life coach, what is the biggest lesson you've learned about helping people overcome adversity?
Oh, that's a great question. The very first thing that I had to learn, and I talk about this with my sister Lily a lot, is that when you are in the space and you truly have a heart for people, oftentimes you want more for them than they want for themselves. And one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn, not just in that space, but just in general, you can't want more for somebody than what they want to do for themselves. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You hear all of these sayings, but it truly is a testament to being a person who likes to serve as a resource. And what that does is that oftentimes you find yourselves overextending yourself. And unfortunately, you overextend and you've exerted all of this energy into empowering and into engaging and into inspiring. But that's just honestly not what they want. So having to understand and find that balance, that I can only extend myself, but for so long, or for so much, and understanding that you have to meet people where they are. And sometimes a person's healing is not on it. A lot of times a person's healing is not on your time zone, even as a coach. Like, a lot of times the answer is right there in your face. You kind of know what they need to do, but they have to see it for themselves. And so that's one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn just in life in general. I can't want more. Can't want more. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so true. You are so right about that. You could always bring the horse to the water, but you can't force them to drink it. So thank you for that. Yeah, so those are all the questions I have for now.
Fantastic. So let's talk about the life coaching, right? So happy to have you here on the show. So how did you get into life coaching? I know you want to help people and that kind of thing. So just tell us, like, what kind of led you to it? And then what does a day in the life look like when you're counseling or coaching, right, a client and things of that nature?
Yes, I was going to say I am not a counselor, and I always try to make that distinction. There is a distinction between counseling and coaching, but the day in the life of a coach, while currently I do not have any official clients or individuals that I am coaching right now, just because other things have somewhat taken a precedence. You never take that coaching hat off, right? So for me, a day in the life for me, number one is I always have to make sure that my cup is full. I have to start off my day, and whatever that looks like, that is, saying, number one, I always cover myself. I'm a faith girl, so I always cover myself in prayer. I start my day off in meditation and prayer. I always affirm myself. So I start my day there. And then from there, it really is about when I am coaching someone, understanding the need to be an empathetic learner, right? And my grandmother used to use this kind of terminology, and y'all probably will hear me use a whole lot of jargon or kind of quotes or things like that, because that's how that's really how I learned over the years. But there's the saying that you have 2 ears to listen, 1 mouth to talk. So you should listen more and talk less. And so over the years, I've learned that I have to do more of that. And I'm a talker, right? But more as I mature, I'm understanding that I need to be able to use and put on my listening ears and really listen with intention. So my day always will start with me pouring into me, because I know, because when my cup is full and now I have to pour out to other people, I have the capacity to do it because my cup is full. And so at that point, whether I am working, because again, I am in the education space, I am an enrollment strategist. And I've been doing that for a number of years. I work for and I represent for some very big institutions, some historic institutions, for which are a part of my portfolio. And so I work with individuals every day who are called to transition their lives, to do something, whether that be to educate themselves more, or may that be for them to have the opportunity to advance in their careers. And sometimes it's just a personal goal. It's just, I want to do it because somebody told me that I couldn't. And so I had to listen all day and do less talking. But when I am talking, just being intentional. And so whether I am doing that on the professional end or even personally with my friends, I always culminate my day. I tell you no lie, I culminate my day. We have a sister circle, we have a tribe. And I always check in with my tribe at the end of the day. My significant other, I make sure that we'll ask, hey, what was the highlight of your day? So being intentional in asking questions, being intentional in engaging with people. So my day is filled with people. And it's people first always, but at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, I make sure that I pour back into me.
I love that. And I love what you said about your tribe, right? Having that tribe. I want to talk a little bit more about that, right? So how does one go about, defining who their tribe is? What does that look like? How do you know when you really have attained or achieved, right, that true tribe, the people that's going to hold you accountable, those types of things? What does that look like? How can one get their tribe, right?
Great question. And shout out to some of my tribe members, because I know that they are watching right now. They sending text messages and checking in with me. But what I will say is, and I made it, I had this epiphany a couple of days ago, and I was saying and I was starting to put the pieces together of how our tribe came to be. And although, I have a couple of pockets of the tribe. So I have the big tribe, but I have a couple of pockets, right? And what I realized in that moment was that the individuals that I truly call that are part of my sisterhood, whether it is my sorority sisters or my line sisters, or my film sisterhood, and then I have other organizations that I am a part of, that I have these core individuals. What I realized is that, and what I shared with my girlfriends the other day, was that the things that I am lacking, there is somebody in my group who has the ability to match what I'm lacking, and they can pour into me what it is that I am lacking, right? And the contrary to that is the things that they are lacking, that there is somebody in the tribe that has the ability to pour into whatever that is. And what I've learned is that everybody that is a part of my tribe, we are all in our own lanes. We are not in competition with each other, and that we all empower each other. We literally pour into each other on a regular basis. We are very intentional about trying to get together, whether that be dinner, whether that's a phone call. We are very intentional about doing that. And like I told you, I grew up as an only child. So I'm going to be honest with you. I had to learn this, because I always had this idea that I could do it by myself. Oh, I'm a loner. That's just me. I'm just like that. And now that I'm going through this change, when you get over 40, you start looking at life a little bit differently. And so, and one of the things about, my mama used to always say, I would laugh about things when I was like, oh, you just old, or, my grandmother was like, just keep living, baby. And so in my living, I realized that I was operating at a deficit. And when you operate at a deficit, you have to figure out a way to add, to what that is. And so when you're trying to find your group, when you're trying to find your core, look at your core. If you are the person that always has to pour in, if you are always the person who has to advocate, if you are always the person that has to pray first, if you are always the person that has to be the cheerleader, and it's always you, and there is no one else that is pouring back into you, even if it's not equally, but there is nobody in there that can pour back into you, that's not your tribe. That's your problem. And so I have been blessed that now I have started to identify those individuals who truly pour into me equally, if not more sometimes, than I have the ability to pour into them. And in full transparency, a lot of times we are in competition with each other of who can do more for who. And that's a blessing to have that opportunity.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love the fact that you say you're in competition with each other, right? Because you're trying to really give back and pour. You're being that servant leader, right? That we all need to be. We need to all be servant leaders, and just to pour. I just love that. Everything that you said is like, mwah, I love it. So thank you so much for sharing that, and then giving that key tidbit, that one important piece of information. If they're not pouring back into you, and you're always the one, red flag, might not be your tribe. I love that. Thank you so much. Yesy?
Yes, what a deep and amazing conversation. See, that's why I love Oyandia. Now, I will say to, I want to give a shout out like I usually do, but I want to remind them, Nadine and Cece, you all are amazing. I am blessed because they help me. They think of questions and just conversations that I can't think of because I'm just one person. So I feel you with having a group of people that come together and help each other grow and prosper. So thank y'all, Nadine and Cece, for that, for just being amazing. Now, Tiffany, my follow up question to you is this, because you mentioned in listening to you and what you were sharing about operating in a deficit. A lot of people don't know what that means or how that look like. They could be operating in a deficit, but they don't realize that they're operating in a deficit. So, can you help us define or help people understand what is operating in a deficit? What would that look like for somebody?
Absolutely. And I will say this, that it looks different to different people. What I can do is I can share what it looks like or some of the key things that I notice when somebody is operating in deficit. The first thing is there's the spiritual. So when we think of our bodies and we think of who we are, there are so many different facets of us, right? There is the mental, there is the physical, right? There is the physiological, there is the psychological. And so when you think about all of these things from a mental space, if you are always questioning why is this person around? Why do I have to do this? Why? If you always have, if your mental space is I always have to question every antic, every anything that is coming my way. If I'm always having to question or second guess, you're probably operating in a deficit. From a physical or a physiological sense, if you're always tired or you always feel drained, you know how, and just like Nadine said, when she met me, I had this aura, right? It was like, oh, you have this aura. So my aura made her feel comfortable and made her want to be around me, right? It drew her in. But there are some people who you just really want to retreat. Like you just like, oh my gosh, they're very, you just don't want to, because every time you come around them, you actually feel exhausted. You're probably operating at a deficit. Going back to the point that I made, if you're always constantly pouring in, but at the end of the day, no one has poured back into you, you're probably operating at a deficit. If you do not, if someone were to ask you, what is the highlight of your day? What was great about you? Or what is something that you value? What is something, and you don't know what to say, or you don't know how to answer that? Or if someone asks you, who do you care most about, or who loves you the most, or what is the last thing somebody did good for you, and you can't come up with anything, more than likely you're operating in a deficit. And so of course there are all kinds of psychological studies and questionnaires and surveys and things that you can identify to figure that out, of course. But I think some things do not require it to be black and white. You just know for yourself. You could just see it. And I am of the persuasion that we need to start operating more in common sense. Unfortunately, common sense is not always common. But some things are just basic. And and we just, and as long as we are doing more of that, then we'll be able to see what that deficit looks like.
Right. I love that. Thank you for breaking that down. And then in the same lines about purpose, what are some of the biggest things you see people experience or deal with that may be holding them back from confidently walking in their purpose?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Of course, everyone thinks and talks about the book, The Purpose Driven Life, right? Which is a great book. It's a great read. I encourage people to definitely take advantage of it. But for me, purpose has to be driven by your passion, right? Purpose is driven and purpose is identified. Number one, when you are mentally grounded, right? But equally, you have to have some level of spiritual grounding, right? You have a belief system in something, right? And having that balance, when you can at least identify those things, that helps you get to a point of understanding your purpose. And unfortunately, a lot of people equate purpose with their job, or they equate purpose kind of superficially. At the core of all of the things that you do, what is the common denominator, right? That's when you identify purpose. And out of all of the things I do, I sing, I act, I write, I speak, I do all of that. But the point of all of that is because I just want to help people. I want to empower and encourage people. The same jovial, light, high energy, engaging side of me that I have, I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be able to experience that. And for me, I had to go through some things to get through that. And sometimes individuals do not understand their purpose until they've experienced loss, until something that they love has been taken away, and that's when they start to identify what that is. For me, my thing was the loss of my daughter, just being honest. And I truly believe, God rest her soul, my daughter Michaela was born with a very rare genetic disorder called Prader-Willi syndrome, and she battled with it, from the time that she was born all the way until her passing. But I literally will say that God gifted me Michaela so that I can now live and truly operate and act in my purpose. Because had I not experienced what it meant to love someone and something unconditionally, I wouldn't be in the space that I am in now. And so it was through her death that I truly identified what that looked like for me. And everybody's journey, like I said, everybody's journey is different, but I will say ultimately, identifying purpose, it starts with you. What do you love? How do you love it? What makes you tick? What are you willing to do, even if you never got paid for it? That helps you identify that ultimate purpose. Having that balance of understanding, but also having that balance that everything has to be in synergy. Everybody has to be in sync. Everything has to kind of be in sync, and that's where you get there.
Thank you for that. And I'm sorry to hear about the loss of your daughter. I know that's tough. And we have some comments here that I want to spotlight. So we have shout out to Lily Jones. I have been singing that song all my life. Aw. Empathetic learner. Love it. Yes. So your tribe is definitely coming out here to support. Yes.
I love it. I love it. There's Wayne. That's one of my castmates.
Yes. And I will say this. I mean, this conversation is definitely getting juicy. So I have a strong feeling, Tiffany, that we're going to have to bring you on for a part 2, because we haven't even touched a lot of like your acting and your just all of your creative part. And then also S.A.I.N.T. Like, I want to know what S.A.I.N.T, your clothing line, right? So there's just so much other things that I have questions about that I'm sure Nadine and Cece also want to ask. And also, if it's okay, maybe in our next session, also diving into loss, right? Because a lot of people grieve.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like that's an area that still needs to be explored. I get it. Everybody grieves differently, but how do we know that we are successfully grieving properly based on, like, we don't get stuck in the different processes of grief, right? So I think that'll be a great follow-up conversation for us to have you for a part two. But my final question before we go into that next that part two and then do our closing statement here is about your creative work. With all that you do, when people watch you, when people listen to you, when people encounter you, what are they hoping, or what are you hoping that they would take away from your creative aspect?
Oh, great question. Um, the culmination of everything is that for me, and I talked about this on podcast last night. For me, regardless of what happens, when you look at a headstone when someone passes away, you read their epitaph, you see sunrise, sunset, right? You see the time that they're born, you see the time that they physically leave this earth. But what's most important is the dash in between. And so for me, whether it's through my singing, whether it's through my words, whether it's through my acting abilities, whether it's through me being an educator, I want people, what I want people to take away from the part of me is that who I was at the core of me was truly a person that inspired others, and people see that I was an inspiration to others. I don't just talk about it, I be about it. I am truly who I say that I am. I walk it, I live it, I breathe it. And I think that's what's important for me. So I'm very passionate on screen. I'm very passionate when I'm singing. I'm very passionate when I'm writing. So you see that passion no matter what. So from a creative space, I want people to really just understand that the creator behind all of this, the person behind this, is truly a person who loves people, a person who truly loves life and wants everybody to see the brighter side of being on this side of heaven.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Beautiful, beautiful. So yes, so you all, she agreed to come for a part two. So Nadine will definitely coordinate with Tiffany, get her back on the schedule for a part two. But we've reached the point of last minute words. And so Tiffany, for you to get an idea of how this looks, I'm going to have Cece lead us. We're going to have Nadine go second, you'll go third, and I'll close out the show. So, all right, last minute words. Cece, spotlight's on you, mama. You're muted, my dear. Cece, can you hear? Uh-oh. It's okay. Nadine, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay, all right. Sorry about that. So yes, so as you see me on the screen, Nadine Barton. If you need to get any of my books, you could go to my website, nadinebarton.com. Like I always say, every dream has an entry fee, a decision to make that decision. And just a little bit of touch of what Tiffany had said earlier. Sometimes you definitely have to use your pain to position your purpose. And we're glad to have you here today, Tiffany.
Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Yep. Oh, go ahead.
All right, let's try it again. Take two. So, hey, I'm your girl, Theandra the Actions with Inspire for Purpose and Girls with Gigs. You can find me on the World Wide Web at inspireforpurpose.com and also Girls with Gigs. We are here to help empower and equip you and also to help you execute your mission, right? So that you can achieve those life goals and also, right, discovering your purpose. I always love to say, remember, nothing positive, right, ever came from negative thinking. So as always, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Tiffany, spotlight's on you, my dear.
Oh my gosh, I am your girl, Tiffani Michele. You can find me on Instagram. I am Tiffani Michele. You can find me on just about every streaming device. But I want y'all to check out, we're going to come back and talk about all of my creative projects, but I want y'all to come and check out number one, Back to the Basics production, full figure fling It is an amazing project. Y'all can find it on all streaming platforms. Several other projects that the season 1 just culminated of Open Reservations with my sister, Tamika Chambliss Williams. I mean, that project is something crazy. Open Reservations, some of my Open Reservations cast members are on tonight. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what will people talk about? What will people say when it comes down to that dash in between? It's not about when you're born. It's not about when you pass away. It's that life in between. So make sure that that life in between is filled with purpose, it's filled with love, and it's filled with being grounded. And everything will work itself out. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, then you got a couple of people that you can call to get a little help on that.
Thank you for that. Yes, wow. See, this is why I love Hoy En Día, and this is a vision that God downloaded on me, because life is beautiful, but it could also be complex, and that's why we have guests like Tiffany that come on. That's why we have people like Sandra, Dr. Cece, Nadine, myself, everyone that's come on the platform to help us guide through life. We all have different approaches to and different problems, different solutions, different outcomes. It's just about you finding that way. But what Tiffany just say, that's the in between, right? You have your sunset, your in between, and your ending. But what are you going to do in the in between? How are you going to think? How are you going to move forward? How are you going to push? Because it's not going to be easy. It's not easy. I'm telling you right now, life is not easy, but don't give up. That's not an option. Giving up is not an option. What is an option is how you can continue to push forward, continue to push through the barriers, be resilient. Be the best version of yourself each and every day. And like also Tiffany was sharing, and Cece and Nadine and myself, we've shared finding the right people. Tiffany definitely spoke, about that, finding your tribe, finding the people that are going to help you, pour into you. That's important. And I get it. Everybody's dealing with things. So you got to give people grace, because we're not perfect, right? We're not perfect. Give people grace. But when you realize that there is a red flag, let's be an adult. Let's talk about it. Say, hey, so-and-so, I've noticed this, I noticed that. Because if you really care about somebody, that's an opportunity for you to come together and talk like adults. Don't get mad. Oh, well, I'm going to act like this. No, reframe your thinking, because life is short. That person can be here today and gone tomorrow. You can be here today and gone tomorrow, right? So again, restructuring how you think, seeing a positive when you feel it's a negative, and trust me, your life is just going to be a lot better. That's just my food for thought. But for those who want to find me and follow me, my name is Yessie Rodriguez. Thank you all for always being so supportive, being on here to support me, Cece, Nadine, our guests that we have on. Yes, this is why we do this, right? And shout out to all of our sponsors too. And for those who want to be sponsors at Hoy En Día or even donate to Hoy En Día, go on my website, yessierodriguez.com. Go on, send an email, hoyendiatv@gmail.com. Also follow us on social media, because we are on IG, we're on YouTube, on Facebook. Even if you go on Google, type in Hoy En Día TV podcast, you'll pull us up on Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Music, Deezer, a bunch of different platforms. Like I looked the other day and there's like 10 more that we're on, which is an amazing blessing. So praise God. So we're growing, we're blossoming, and we're slowly becoming a household name. So Hoy En Día TV / Now and Today. That's how it translates. We are talking about now and today. So thank you all for tuning in. Continue, please, blessings. And like I always say, the sky is never the limit, because the galaxies are endless. So hasta pronto. See y'all soon. Take care.